All right, so welcome, Katie, to this afternoon session. So you were sharing something. Do you want to just start again from the top of that?
Yeah, I when I'm doing exercise, like physical exercise, egos, I can see thoughts in my mind. Oh, why should you do that? What's the this is not valuable for anyone. Then you don't be so selfish.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm listening to that, and because I'm listening to that, I feel like I didn't give myself attention and acceptance, and then when I'm meeting with friends, I'm grumpy. It sounds funny.
Yeah, the ego's quite cunning. So it'll say, oh well, don't nurture yourself because it's you're not being helpful to anyone else. But the truth is, if you nurture yourself, you are being helpful because you're empowering yourself. Now, if you're fit, strong, healthy, your energy's good, then you're in the right state. Then you can be helpful to other people.
Wow.
So it's taking care. Healer, heal thyself first. How can a healer? Imagine you went to a healer, and this person's supposed to be helping you, and you go, actually, they're really sick, and they're really not. You can see their health isn't good, and they're not taking care of themselves, and they're all kind of falling apart physically, and now they're going to heal you. You'd go, okay, this isn't going to work. Clearly, because you're not a demonstration of your healing ability, and so you nurture yourself. You do this because it's part of self-care, self-love. Taking care of the physical body. It's not ultimately true, and you're not obsessed with it, but doing some basic body maintenance, like exercising, well, however often feels right for you. Now, I used to be quite obsessive about it. I'd exercise every day. I was like training 4 or 5 hours a day. I think it was my career. Now I exercise much less because I've got other things. It's like, okay, I've got things, other things to do. I'm running this course. I've got other businesses, but I still do exercise because if I don't, I know that I'm not taking care of myself. I have to have that as a regular part of my week. I generally do one proper session, proper workout a week, and then the rest I might do a bit of yoga and have a swim and stuff. But it's all self-care. It's helping me to be a feel better, look better, and be more helpful. Because if I don't do that, it's like a foundational thing in your life. It's not the be all and the end all. But if you don't have these foundations in place, then sooner or later you're probably going to find that you suffer because of it. If you never exercise, then sooner or later you'll probably find that the body doesn't operate as well.
It's like the same I'm doing with the poetry.
Yeah. Because I'm not you track it back to that belief in lack of worth. I'm not worthy of it. So I'm not worthy of doing exercise because that's just for me. Oh, okay, so you're not worthy of loving yourself then, and nurturing yourself and helping yourself. And exercise is a meditation. It's a moving meditation at its highest. So
and what is with the people who are doing exercise and they are selfish, like they only want to, they don't do it for a higher purpose?
Yeah, well, the ego can misuse anything. You get people who get body obsessed, and they're doing it because they want the designer body, or they, the bodybuilder types. I want big muscles to be seen to be, it's all over identification with the body. So you can just anything you can use from the ego's perspective or the spirit. And someone like that might really benefit from saying, okay, well, let me cut down on my exercise. There's one guy wanted to do this course, and he's going, oh no, but I'm at the gym every night for 3 hours. Okay, well, it's probably not going to work, is it? Because what's your priority then? Your priority is your gym, is working your body and not your mind. So you're not going to show up. If you can't show up for the masterclass, you're probably not going to show up for the sessions either, because you've got other priorities. Priorities to go and build your muscles in the gym every night. I didn't say that to him, obviously, but that's what he's saying by his actions. You're 3 hours a night. Okay, well, that's a lot of time to spend on your physical body, a lot, rather than on the mind. So we have to, we've only got so much time. It's like, what you're going to focus on. So someone like that probably actually would have done him a lot of good. Say, okay, well, why don't I cut down my gym to 1 hour or 2 hours, and then I can join the sessions, still doing it, or do it, only hello? Okay, someone's just arrived in my garden. I don't know.
Want to join the session? What? You can look if you want to.
Let me just have a look.
Yeah.
Hello, can I help you?
Okay. Light.
Oh, okay.
What we are doing is take out the bulbs here,
Right.
so that they won't bother you.
Okay.
But the rest of it's going to do.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Something in my garden.
Okay. We're just doing some maintenance. All right. So just in terms of exercise, and I can give you a couple of tips. I don't know if you saw earlier in the course, first week, I sent out that various it was a breathwork course, and one of the sessions was about how to breathe when you exercise. Do you recall that? Did you see it or not?
No.
You didn't see it. Okay, so it's in one of the early mails. But I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah, send it to me after this.
So very, very simply put, it's if you breathe through your nose rather than through your mouth when you exercise, you'll find that it puts you into what they call a flow state or a zone state. Okay, so the theory is very simple. If you breathe through your mouth, just do it now. We did this before, just so you get the experience. Breathe.
Okay, I'm breathing through my mouth.
10 breaths through your mouth and go. So you were running up a hill and breathing really, really heavily through your mouth. Just do that for 10 times.
Yeah, I feel like something in my brain is happening.
It doesn't feel that good, does it?
No, I'm feeling like there is energy stuck in my brain.
So when you breathe through your mouth, you activate the fight or flight response, which is programmed into us to as an emergency kind of mode. It's like thousands of years ago, we're living in caves, wherever you come across a lion or a rival tribesman, and someone wants to, like it's life or death. The next 5 minutes is going to determine whether you live or die. Are you going to fight this thing, or are you going to run? So the body produces all this adrenaline and cortisol to get you into a highly energized state to fight or to flee in that moment. So it's an emergency mode. And temporarily, if it really was a life threatening situation, mobilizing that energy could be quite helpful. But 99.99% of the time in our today's world, it's not helpful. It's not a helpful response because it puts you into a fear mode. It suppresses things like your immune system, your reproductive system, your digestive system, because the body's mobilizing all of its available energy for this apparent threat. So when you breathe that way, you activate those kind of stress chemicals and you start feeling it virtually straight away. You're activating sympathetic nervous system, not parasympathetic. The parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite of that. It's the relaxation response. You feel relaxed, you feel calm, you feel like you're in flow. So you're breathing nice deep slow breaths through your nose, and then there's a little tweak that I'm going to show you. So breathe in through your nose. Make sure the stomach is rising first. Is that happening? Stomach rising first.
Yeah, I can do that.
And into the chest. Okay, so that's a full inhale. And this is engaging the diaphragm. So the stomach rises because your diaphragm is expanding. And diaphragm pulls the lungs, pulls the air into the deeper parts of the lungs. So using your full lung capacity. And then when you exhale, you keep your mouth closed. Exhale out through your nose and make a little sighing sound at the back of your throat. So that's it's like a constriction of the throat, and it's like when you hear that, it sounds a bit like the character Darth Vader in Star Wars. If you watch the Star Wars movies.
I know that figure. I was not in the Star Wars movie.
Yeah. So he goes like, oh, it's like that. Oh, when he's breathing. So it's actually called the Ujayi breath in yoga. It's a yogic breath.
Oh, I've done that once.
Yeah. So it's just a constriction or contraction of the throat, and you find your stomach muscles will contract. And what that does is it enhances the effect of the exhale. So more air is expelled out of the lungs. So you want to create maximum inhale, maximum exhale. So you expel all the air, the carbon dioxide out of the lungs, so your lungs are empty, and in the presence of a vacuum, air tends to rush in because that's how nature works. There's a vacuum, something wants to rush in to fill it. So then the air on the next inhale goes in and rushes in that vacuum effect, and it helps you to get more of an inhale into the deeper parts of your lungs.
So when I'm doing exercise, I should do Ujayi breath and breathe through the nose.
Breathe through the nose, exactly.
Okay.
And you exercise to a level where you're comfortable. So if you start feeling like you need to breathe through your mouth, then you're probably going too hard. Just cut the level so that you can maintain that nasal breathing.
Okay.
Because what you're trying to train yourself to do here is more with less effort. So it's not about, okay, well, I work hard, my pulse rate will go up to 150, 160 beats a minute. That's working quite hard. That's the kind of typical, conventional science is now, well, in order to get any benefits from exercise, you need to be, working into that aerobic zone, 150, 160, and then you'll be breathing through your mouth. Okay, so mouth breathing, it's very shallow, and you're actually getting much less oxygen in to the bloodstream per breath because it's only going into the top half of your lungs. And the air is also not being warmed and cleaned and filtered through your nasal cavity. So this is about efficiency, maximum efficiency of your breathing. Breathe through your nose, you get a deeper breath, you take in more oxygen, goes into the deeper parts of your lungs, so you get more oxygen absorbed per breath. You don't need to breathe as fast. Your heart doesn't need to beat as fast in order to get the oxygen to the various muscles because there's more oxygen per breath. And you're relaxed. You're in the flow. Your body's relaxed because you've activated parasympathetic nervous system because that's what nasal breathing does. So you relax, and the thing becomes a moving meditation. The mind is relaxed, the body's relaxed, and when the body's relaxed, it works better. If you start tightening, you get vasoconstriction of your arteries and your veins, then the blood doesn't flow so well. You get tight and there's no flow. So in order to really enjoy exercise and also to do it optimally, I mean, I mastered this to the point where I could breathe through my nose, whatever I was doing. I was playing competitive squash. I was doing heavy sprint training. I could breathe through my nose, always. So you can take it to that level, but you're not competitive, all right? You're not a competitive athlete. You don't particularly want to run races and beat records and anything. You're just doing it because it's enjoyable.
No.
You just want to do it because it's enjoyable and it's good for your health. So use it as a moving meditation. Okay, so I'm going to breathe. How would you be breathing if you're meditating? You'd be breathing through your nose, wouldn't you? So I'm going to breathe. I'm going to just do the Ujayi breath as an enhancement, and I'm going to enter flow. I'm going to enter the flow state. That's your whole objective. It's not how hard you go, what heart rate you get to, because that's all body stuff driving. Again, it's body identification and not the mind. The primary purpose of exercise is that it's a moving meditation. It actually helps you to go into an altered state where you can feel like you've let go of your mind, your problems, and it can be very relaxing and very refreshing and very energizing. So see it as, that's the purpose of it. Then you have the true purpose. And the body will just follow suit. The body gets a lot of benefits from it as well, because you're oxygenating your body, you're moving energy around, you're moving your lymph system around, all of those physical benefits. But that's not the reason why you should do it. You do it because it's a moving meditation. It makes you feel good. And then the body effects follow. So again, it's making, what's primary. Focus on what's primary, and then what's secondary will come.
I can see that I'm resisting to come to a feeling of pain.
Okay, just explain that. You don't want to exercise because of the pain.
Sometimes I'm doing exercise, and then when pain starts, I'm stopping, and then it take me a lot of energy to do. So it's like I can do 1 hour of exercise, but sometimes I'm just doing 5-minute pause or 10-minute pause, and I'm like, hey, I don't do that. Like go into the pain, and because I think it's part of it, and when I'm not judging it, I'm doing that practice of Dr. Hawkins. I start to do that when I feel pain, to allow it, to not see it as pain, and to feel it fully. And I want to also do that when I'm doing exercise. And I'm making a hierarchy of illusion when I'm doing exercise.
Yeah, it's just how you perceive it. So you've got a sensation in your body. That's what's going on. So you're running and you're feeling, okay, well, there's a sensation in my legs, whatever. But you just observe it. You're okay, well, it's just a sensation, and I'm not going to let that stop me. And it's actually this is part of the spiritual practice. Like I've done a lot of pain in exercise, a lot, but I didn't see it as pain anymore. It's just like I'm able to just do it and not have a resistance to it. Okay, it's just a body sensation, temporary body experience, sensation. Yeah, I'll go through it, and this will pass. It's not permanent, and so you don't resist it. You're able to the mind can be in an observer state, and just observe that sensation, and not go, oh, this is terrible. I don't want this. Just be like, okay, I'm okay with it, and that is powerful spiritual training, in fact, because you're learning to detach the mind from the body, and not to let it stop you. So then, in other areas of my life, I found that very helpful. So okay, well, I'm feeling tired. So I'm working, I've done a whole night's work, and I've still got to get an email out, and I've got to just do the last hour or two, and then I just do it. It's like I don't let it stop me. It's like, okay, well, it's just a sensation. Just push through. Just do it. So you don't create these self-imposed obstacles. So what you're starting to do is not allow the body to govern the mind. The mind, you're saying my mind is more powerful than my body. And exercise can be another way of learning that. And you'll also find if you're in the flow and you're breathing through your nose and not your mouth, that actually the experience is quite pleasurable. Even if there's a sensation somewhere in your body of, okay, well, what you would have called pain, actually you're in a pretty good space. Mentally, emotionally, you're kind of in the flow. You're in kind of a meditative state. And so you don't really feel the pain, because pain is perceptual, isn't it?
And what music? Yeah, you're right. I will take that in and apply it. What kind of music do you hear? Because I feel like I was yesterday, I was listening to that music which people play in the gym, and I was not happy with it because that music was like it was with lyrics, and the lyrics was very ego centered, like one body wants another body, or look how good I am, look how great I am, or look how bad I am, and it was making me upset. And then I stopped the music because it was like
yeah, I mean, you can choose better music if you want to work out to music.
I think I will choose do it again with instrumental music, because then there are no ego messages in it.
Instrumental music, or I mean, there's lots of inspiring music. Just put inspiring music in on YouTube, and there's tons, loads of really amazing music. That's instrumental. Even if there's a voice, and you listen to someone like Enya, that's not ego. There's some lovely messages coming through.
But I don't know how I can play that and run, because
maybe you can't. Maybe you don't need music. You just focus on your breathing. Just go into a space, focus on the breath, and you use the breath as the meditation. Most people play music because it kind of distracts the mind a bit from the what's going on in the body and the pain. So that's why they have it as a distracted device.
Yeah.
But you don't actually need it. Like, actually, this is mind-body integration. If you're really in the zone and in the flow, you enjoy the whole experience. It's not like you want to separate your mind from the body. Now, that's why they also have TVs and stuff, music, TVs. It's a disconnection of the mind from the body. Oh, well, I'll keep my mind occupied while I'm on my treadmill by watching whatever, watching a music video, watching the news, watching sport. And actually what you want is mind-body integration. You want to be wholly there. Okay, so I'm completely in the experience. I'm in the present. I'm breathing, and I'm actually able to enjoy the experience, because otherwise, why am I doing it? What I'm trying to be there. I mean, this is the crazy Western psychology, isn't it? I'm there, but I'm not there. So I'm doing my exercise mechanically, but I'm not really there, because my mind is now occupied with watching the TV. And so it's a classic like disconnection. Oh, okay, you're just gonna go and exercise just for the body. You exercise because, okay, the body needs to be exercised, so I'm gonna go do it mechanically. I'm gonna do my run or my walking, but my mind is gonna be occupied with watching the news or whatever's on TV. And so I wasn't really there. I wasn't present for the experience. I kind of just checked out. And there's a separation there between mind and body, which isn't really healthy. You recognize you're not a body. I mean, Jesus is saying you're not a body, but don't disconnect yourself from the experience, because the whole experience can actually be very enjoyable and very pleasurable if you allow yourself to enter into it. And the key thing is the breath. The breath keeps you there, keeps you present, keeps you in the flow, keeps the parasympathetic nervous system activated, so it's activating the right biochemistry in the body. And the whole experience can be actually quite pleasant and enjoyable. Even if there's so-called pain, you just change the status of the pain. That's not pain, it's just a sensation in the body. Okay, so there's something going on in my legs. There's a burning sensation in my legs. Okay, that's okay. It's just a sensation. And actually my mind has risen above that, you see. I'm above the battleground. I'm actually at peace, even while I'm doing this quite intense exercise. So there's the stillness in the activity. Now, you can learn to do this in exercise. Well, you can learn to do it in life, because a lot of the time in life you're moving around, you're on the go, you're walking, you're talking. Okay. Well, I can maintain that stillness even in an intense situation. So it's mind training. You're doing it because this is training your mind. It's another way of training your mind to help you to access your source. And you're just doing it through the modality of exercise. That's the right way to see it. And it becomes a spiritual practice, and it's part of all of the spiritual practices that you do in your life. Does that make sense?
It makes.
And you'll enjoy it. If you do it this way, you'll find you enjoy it. There won't be that resistance. Like, actually, I'm really going to enjoy my hour of exercise. It's a moving meditation. And the more you get into this breathing, the more you master it, it becomes effortless. It's really, I've had times, I'm just in the zone, I'm in flow, and there's no effort. It's just happening. I remember when I started to get this, because up until that point, I'd been like, okay, you got to push through the pain, right? No pain, no gain. That's the kind of traditional mindset of exercise. So you got to push through, and I didn't really enjoy a lot of it, because it's like I was doing really hard training, like, hours a day, and like high intensity, heart rate would go to like 180 beats a minute plus, and you go into oxygen deprivation, and it's like pain, and and it was like hard. It was hard. I was like, sometimes you go, but no, I wanted to win. I wanted to be better. So this is what you got to do to win. And the whole thing's egoic, because there's no actual enjoyment in the process. And then I started to breathe through my nose, and I also changed my diet. That helped as well. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, it took me about 2 or 3 months to really get it and be able to breathe through my nose whenever. When I was playing squash, I was doing sprint training. But once I cracked it, it was like, wow, this is like another level entirely. I could do so much more with less effort. It was quite extraordinary what happened. So I would go, and previously what would have been really tiring, I'd just do it easily, effortlessly. And I'd enjoy it. I'd enjoy the process. It was extraordinary. So remember once I played a match. It was about 45 minutes. I'd won fairly comfortably. And then I felt so good, I wasn't tired at all, that I went next door to an empty squash court. I don't know, have you ever played squash? Do you know what a squash court looks like? It's just a box. You kind of...
I only know badminton, and
Anyway, it's a little court. It's about 10 meters long by about 7 meters wide or something. And so I was just running around the court doing the movements, playing the shots, but no ball. So there's no opponent, there's no ball. It's called ghosting. Now, normally there's no ball to distract you. That's quite tiring. If I did 12 sets of a minute with, say, 30 seconds rest in between, that's quite a good session. Well, that day I did half an hour straight, right? No rest, just went half an hour straight. And I was like, whoa, and I'm not tired. I could have carried on probably for another half an hour. I wasn't tired. Just flowing with it. I was just, and I really enjoyed it. It was like, I'm so in the zone with my body and mind are like connected. I'm enjoying the experience. I'm not tired. I'm not getting fatigued. There was some sensation in my legs. That's all. But I'm like, but that's not really pain. And I just kept going. It was extraordinary. It was like, this is like just a different level. Entirely different level of performance, different level of consciousness. I was in the flow. I was in the zone, and it's a very lovely experience when you're in the zone. It's a moving meditation. So that's what every exercise session can be. You just have to know how to activate it, and this breathing is the key. So practice it. You can practice it whenever you're exercising. You can practice it when you're walking. Just driving, just get into the habit of, okay, I'm just going to do this nice deep rhythmical breathing, put the Ujayi into it, and practice. So it becomes your default mode of breathing.
Okay.
And when you're exercising, just be patient with it. You're not going to go to maybe the same performance level straight away, but that's not what this is about. You're training your mind and your body to work smoothly and harmony together. And ultimately, you'll get to beyond that performance level, and you'll do it effortlessly. But the first 2 or 3 months, just gradually raise your level. So you go, okay, I'm going to start with 5 minutes of walking, and I'm just going to be breathing, and I'm going to be focusing on my breath. And then you gradually would raise your heart rate to maybe 130 to 140 beats a minute. And that would happen over 5-minute warm up, and then maybe 10-minute lead in. I don't know if you jog or you walk, but you just do it kind of gently, and you're warming up your body and your lungs as you do it. And then after about 15 minutes, you're ready to go into what's called the performance phase. And then you can go, okay, well, now I'm going to go at my max, but my max might still not be very high. It might be just a gentle jog, but I'm breathing comfortably through my nose. Make sure that the breathing is nice and smooth and rhythmical, and then if you feel like you can lift the level a bit, then you go a bit faster until you feel like, okay, well, that's kind of I'm hitting the limit of this. I'm going to need to breathe through my mouth now, and that's your limit. Then that's where you stay, and you just go for as long as you want. That's the performance zone. You could do an hour, you could do half an hour. It's up to you, and you can do this with weight training as well. So if you're doing any weights, you just do the weight, and then as you exhale, you do the movement. You exhale, do the Ujayi breath. It's going to give you some extra power. So let's say you're doing some lat pull downs, you pull them down, and then as you inhale, you release. You exhale, you do the movement, inhale, release. So you can, and then the whole thing is actually a breathwork exercise. Your exercise session is centered around the breath, and the breath puts you into the state of mind that's the flow state or the zone state, which then gives you the experience of it being a moving meditation. And your entire experience changes. Instead of that it going, oh, I don't like the pain, so I'm not going to do it, and you're resisting, you just, no, that's the resistance just drops away. You just do it.
I think I have enough to digest all this information. Can we go over to lessons, since I have to go in? I think it's really good if I would go at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And I have some time to do the meditation and
sure.
Put a mindset.
Okay, so this quote's actually today from the lesson. So do you want to read that?
Do you mean take a handheld mirror and stare?
No. Actually, no. Okay, I'm sharing let me just go back into the sharing. Stop the share. So I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, now you should be able to see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so let's just zoom in a bit.
Miracles. There is no more. Thank you for. Yeah, it's perfect size. There's no more self-contradictory concept than that of the idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of a whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought you have contributes to truth or to illusion. Either it extends the truth or it multiplies illusion.
So that's from today's lesson, actually.
Why Dear journal, you are a journal.
Yes, because I send it to myself as a test. That's why.
Okay.
So I test it before I send it out.
Okay.
So,
You could leave
no,
it
this is my
empty.
program. It automates it, you know. So I stick in my email address and then it picks up my name and it sticks it in.
Okay.
Okay, so I have no neutral thoughts. That's
There's
what this is
more hand.
about. I have no neutral thoughts. As Jesus is saying, this emphasizes the power of our thoughts, reiterates that every thought is either positive one that extends the truth or negative one that multiplies illusions. And today's recorded discussion was about body conditions, sickness, fatigue, pain, and how the ego uses these to try and confirm its apparent reality in our minds.
Oh yeah.
So one of its primary defense mechanisms is the body. Oh, I'm feeling pain in the body. The body must be real. The body's sick. I'm feeling tired. What it's doing, it's making the body real. It's making this illusion real and giving it more power than the mind. And so the more we identify with these body conditions, the more they seemingly make us feel separated, fearful and self-pitying. So you've got to recognize what the ego's agenda is with the body and then just refuse to use it that way. Because the body can be used equally well by the Holy Spirit to help to free your mind and to help to be truly helpful to others as well. Okay, so I have no neutral thoughts. Do you want to read paragraph 1?
Of course. The idea for today is the beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts have no effect. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. There is no exception to this fact. Thoughts are not big or little, powerful or weak. They're merely true or false. Those that are true create their own likeness. Those that are false make theirs. There is no more
Okay,
self-contradictory.
just pause there. Stop. Let's have a look at the first paragraph. So any thoughts about that? Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. What is he saying there?
I'm
Everything.
the cause of the world, I see.
So I'm projecting the world. The world is a projected thought. It's the result of my thoughts. There's no exception to this fact. Okay? So the world is a projection of thought. Energy is projected thought, as we discussed yesterday.
I can see how the idea of unworthiness is wanting to have this world real and fearful.
Yeah. And the unworthy self is what's created this world, miscreated this world. Because it projects its unworthiness out and then creates a world that seems to make it little and fearful.
Yeah, that's it.
Because that's its self-concept. So then the world, I don't know if you listened to that bonus talk by David Hoffmeister that I sent this morning. Did you listen to that or not?
No.
So it's worth listening to. He talks about the world is your self-concept. The entire cosmos is a projection of your self-concept. That's how big this is. Like everything's your self-concept. The planets, the stars, the room around you, it's a projection of your self-concept. And that self-concept that gave birth to this universe, physical universe, is an unworthy self-concept. So saying everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Thoughts about yourself projected outward. There is no exception to this, because that's how the illusion was made. And then he's saying, look, These are not big or little, powerful or weak. They're just merely true or false. So there's only two categories, which makes it quite simple. What's true and what's false. Those that are true create their own likeness. Those that are false make theirs. So notice the difference between create and make. He usually always uses create for truth, and the ego makes illusions. And our job is to tell the difference between them. Okay. Any questions on paragraph 1?
Let me see. I can see how that brings up the fear of, wow, that seems like I am the cause of all my upsets. The blame is on me. If I want to blame someone, it's me. That's not making me happy right now.
But then self-blame is as much an ego defense as blaming others. Jesus says that at some point. So you don't blame yourself, you just observe. Okay, so it's my thoughts that have made up this world.
Salvation comes from me, or I only crucify myself. So it's two sides of the one coin, how I want to see it.
Yeah, but by accepting responsibility, that your thoughts create your reality.
Our responsibility is nice word. Response ability. The ability to respond.
Yes, to respond differently. So the only way we're ever going to empower ourselves is to say, I have responsibility, right? I can respond as I choose. Because if I'm just the victim of the world, I see. And the world is really outside in, and the world is dictating my thoughts and my emotions, then that's very disempowering, because I'm a victim of the world. Oh, something happened, I didn't like it, now I get upset. Oh, I'm upset because that happened, because someone said something, someone did something I don't like. Oh, but look, that's real. Now I'm upset, now I'm a victim of the world, aren't I? I've given my power away to the world. Now the world has the power to determine my thoughts, my emotions, my state of mind.
If the opposite of codependency is self-dependency with a capital S, what is the opposite of responsibility?
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't get the right word. It's, I think, victimhood, but I think there's a better word, like.
Well, the victim doesn't take responsibility. The victim feels that something else is victimizing him or her. But what victims do is they react. They react. They don't respond. And again, you look at the word react. Okay, so you just react from your past conditioning, right? You're reacting your past over and over and over again. You're reacting it. You see that? So the words are powerful. They're pointers to the truth. So in reactivity, you're just reacting to the external stimuli, and you're going, oh, that's real, therefore I react to it. And that keeps you in the victim mindset, very much so. Because I'm not in control anymore. I'm not responsible. Oh, someone else did it to me. Something or someone else did this to me, and I'm reacting. I'm angry because you made me angry. I'm angry because, or I'm fearful because. I'm fearful because COVID is here. Oh, no, it's very real. COVID. And it's a mindset, isn't it? It's a mindset of, oh, there's something outside of me that is real, that's threatening, that can now fundamentally affect my state of mind and take me away from love and make me feel fearful and angry and upset and whatever the emotion is the ego wants to trigger. So the turnaround is simply saying, no, everything is the result of my thoughts. All right? I'm making this up as I go along. Quantum mechanics confirms this. There's no reality in the absence of observation. This is my projection. I'm perceiving it according to a certain belief system I have. I'm projecting it subconsciously. And it's all my reality. And it's a shared dream, so there seem to be other people in it as well. But how I perceive it is up to me. That's what we have total control of. You can't consciously always control the projections because this is the matrix and there's all kinds of stuff going on. You're not in control of what other people do. You have very little control on that level. But you can control how you respond to everything. And so that's the absolute key. That's what Jesus is trying to train us to do. How you respond is up to you.
And when there is the resistance, for example, I had today the resistance to forgive someone, and what helped me was when I was joining within a Course in Miracles student, and we were doing it together, and reminding me how important that person is to me, and that I don't want to see the person suffer.
So you choose to let it go. So forgiveness is empowering because you're choosing now your response. You're saying, okay, well, yes, I feel the ego speaks first and speaks loudest. Maybe I feel angry, I feel upset, but I'm willing to look at it, acknowledge the feeling, and then say, okay, but I can let this go. I don't have to continue on in this. I have a choice here.
It helps me. It helps me to visualize people when I have this anger in me. It helps me to visualize how those people cry, because then I see, oh no, I don't want to see them cry. But I think this is still on the ego level, what I'm talking right now about. But it kind of leads me to the non-dual level, because then after I chose to not wanting to see, don't want to hurt them, I choose to say, okay, let me see that in truth they never can cry because they're spirit.
Yeah. If you go to, can you see this screen?
Yeah, I can
The
see it.
documents. Let me just go to the 10-step process. So in this 10-step process, you notice I put in compassion. Compassion is not a word that Jesus uses. I don't think he uses compassion ever in the Course. It's not a word.
Did he ever use acceptance? Someone asked me yesterday I was talking with a Course in Miracles student about acceptance, and she said, why didn't you use Jesus that word? That would have helped me.
The Course has got its own language,
Yeah.
Well, I always wonder with acceptance, it often can be confusing because what are you accepting? Are you accepting the ego? Acceptance. Okay, so you're accepting the form of it. In truth, acceptance is letting go. That's what acceptance means. Acceptance is forgiveness.
It's
so
like,
let's just be clear on the language. What do you? Because okay, I'm accepting what? I'm accepting the ego. I'm accepting death and pain and disaster. No, what you're choosing to do is to let go of that and accept the truth. That's what acceptance really means.
yeah, it's like when the Course is saying this Course is, your only choice is to do when to do the Course, but you are determined, it is already determined that you have to do the Course, so you can
The required Course, yeah.
And what is the connection? Acceptance. Yeah, it's like the truth. You don't like the truth. Like you have no choice. It didn't matter if you accept the truth or not accept the truth. The truth is the truth, and you only can in this dream that you have a choice. And then like tiny mad idea never happened. Like the truth God didn't need to be accepted. God, like there's a subject object. The separation acceptance brings that. Yeah, but also with but compassion has also something about dualism, I think.
No.
Because having compassion for what?
Well, yeah. So this is remember, this is a process. The process is to move from a separated state of mind, where you're not forgiving and you're judging and there's negativity, and the process is to move to total acceptance. I mean, at the end here, you get to, all is forgiven and released. We always are, and we have been, and will be one self. Bless you. So I love you
Bless me.
unconditionally as myself. So there's an acceptance there of the truth, you see. That's the final step. But it's a process to go through the 9 steps to get there. So compassion is a step that I thought would be helpful, because you can go, okay, if I can soften my judgment and I can see that someone else is struggling, someone else is just in a state of mind that's not conducive necessarily to their own happiness and well-being, and I see that they're in that state and they really can't help themselves, they don't know how to get out of it, then I can have compassion for them, because I go, well, they're actually suffering, even though they might be behaving badly and they're attacking me, they're actually suffering, and that's just an expression of their suffering. So really it's a cry for love, and so, love is the appropriate response. And so it softens your judgment. You understand that someone seems to be suffering. It softens that judgmental core of the ego. And so it's part of the letting go. So, okay, well, if I can feel that, then how can I judge them as much? And then you move into, okay, well, now we're going to just actually really look at the emotions, and we're going to let go of the pain. And once we've done that, we can appreciate the perfection, we can be grateful for it, and finally we can just accept that all is forgiven.
That's the process.
So it's a process, and the compassion is just part of the process, not the end result. Like if you stopped there, you wouldn't have done radical forgiveness as Jesus is teaching it.
Yeah, then I would be like a hippie trying to share flowers and hug everyone. And like,
but you wouldn't have really let it go in your mind. So the true radical forgiveness simply says, this is not true, this is not real, and I can really see that and accept it.
yeah,
And feel it, right? The true acceptance. I feel that, yes, we really are one. I really feel there's one self. I feel that oneness between us. And so the separation, which caused the difficulties and the problems, is gone from my mind. That's the true acceptance. And that's just what this process guides you to do. So compassion is just part of the process. It can be helpful, but it's not the end result. It's what I call halfway. It's like a halfway forgiveness, or a mock forgiveness, right? It's not the full picture, but it's a start. It's like, okay, I'm starting to soften my judgment. I'm starting to feel less angry towards the person, say. So that's good. It softens that. It's like loosening the hold of the ego. So now you're a little bit more open, a little bit more willing to then go the whole way and do the rest of the process, which is feeling the emotions, letting go of the pain.
yeah.
And the core of it is really this. You feel feel the emotions, and then just release them, let them go.
It was amazing when I was, and I have to go in 20 minutes. Just want to say, I was I hope it's helpful when I say these things, like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to meditation, so we're nearly done with the lesson, so we can go into meditation.
Can I still add something?
Yes.
Okay, keep it short. To that compassion thing, I think it was because I was doing the lessons, and also because of special relationships. One friend of me got sick, and he got like a cold, and I think there was so much attachment that I cried, and then I was like, why do I cry? Did I cry because he have a cold? And I was like, yeah, but he's suffering. So And that's just the starting point, and then to see,
Hmm.
okay, I thought, okay, I can live with this. I need to go, let this go, and see the wholeness in him.
Because the truth of the matter is not really suffering. That's the
Yeah.
truth. So the radical forgiveness takes you the whole way and simply says, this isn't true, this isn't real, and it's his opportunity to face his own ego and let it go. So that's the opportunity
Yeah. That's
that
a
it
wonderful way
presents.
of
So why
seeing
would you deprive him of an opportunity to grow? Because that's what life is about. So the
And
suffering is retranslated and say reinterpreted and say that no, suffering is an opportunity for growth for that person.
you're right.
And then you
Interesting.
reframe it, and it's like, well, he's not suffering. He's got the opportunity to grow and to let go of some of his ego from the situation, and that's a wonderful opportunity.
And for me, it was a wonderful opportunity because something in me didn't want to accept that suffering is real. That's the reason why I was crying. I think crying comes from, it happens when something in the heart chakra is like, crying is connected to heart. Even if it's ego heart, I can still see the desire to not, like, I don't want to accept this. This is hurtful. That pain is real. So, and I was allowing that grief to come up, and then I can see, okay, what do I really want? I want.
Yeah, well, you need to feel. So part of this, steps 5 and 6, it's feeling these emotions. Like the ego just doesn't want to, she'll shut that down. So no, I'm not even going there. It's too painful. I'll just suppress it or repress it. So I won't actually feel it. But you need to feel it in order to let it go. It
It's
needs to
like I
come
love
up
to cry.
consciously. Huh?
Like I love to cry. I cry when I see something beautiful. I cry when I feel
Oh,
unhappy. I think it's a good way of releasing.
yeah, it is. Yeah. When you cry, it's a natural inhibitor or a releaser of the stress hormones. So cortisol and adrenaline and so on, they get released through the tears. And so that's why often after a traumatic event or even a very happy event, it's like too much of those chemicals, and then you have to release it, and then crying is the way you do it. That's why people cry often involuntarily after an intense emotional experience,
Yeah.
like a release. People cry like you watch the like athletes. They're doing the Winter Olympics now, and they've got all this intensity, and they do it, and then finally they've done it, and then often they burst into tears because it's like, oh, like it's a relief, it's a release of all of that stress. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Use it. So all ways that you can release the ego's emotions and move beyond it. Okay, so let's finish the lesson. If you want a meditation, we need to start in the next 3 minutes. So just read paragraphs 2 and 3.
There is no more self-contradictory concept than of the idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of the whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought you have contributes to truth or to illusion. Either it extends the truth or it multiplies illusions. You can indeed multiply nothing, but you will not extend it by doing so.
So that was the quote. Okay, so it's one or the other. You need to choose here. This is what he's saying.
What does it mean? You can indeed multiply nothing, but you will not extend it by doing so. I don't get
Yeah,
that.
so playing with language. Yeah. So you multiply. You're talking about the difference in the fundamental aspect of the mind. So when you extend something, again, he uses the language extension for love. Extension is when you extend what's real, love, and so that's now extending through you into the world. So you might extend love by being kind to someone, by saying something kind. You might
Oh,
extend
writing poetry, just using one example from
by
me.
writing poetry, yeah. So that's an extension, right? Multiplication of nothing feels like, okay, so Katie's got an illusion she's unworthy, and now she multiplies that. So she has thoughts about, oh, I'm not worthy, or I'm fearful, or
Yeah.
now I don't want to write my poetry, so that multiplies the illusion. I feel blocked and stuck there. Now I feel rejected by someone. I feel then I feel alone, and I feel abandoned because they rejected me. And so you multiply the illusions. You go down a path of just multiplying the nothingness of the lack of self-worth is a nothing thought, because it's a negating thought. See, you're negating what's true. So it's actually nothing, no thing. There's nothing really there, but you're multiplying it into multiple illusions.
So it's like,
Emotions that just multiply, and they go on and on and on until you're willing to stop them.
so the sentence is like saying, Katie, or whatever, whoever is reading this, you can dream of multiplying, but it won't be it won't delete the truth. Like the truth will remain the same no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. The truth is always there, but it's not true for you as long as if you're unaware of the truth, it doesn't help you very much.
Yeah.
If you continuously multiply illusions, which just cover over the truth, the ego is just continuously. It's a thought-making machine. It's just making all of these thoughts and these emotions, and the entire thing is a veil of illusion that covers the truth of the love, the pure formless awareness that you really are. And that's the purpose of the world. And then the world gives you the justification for the multiplication of nothing. You keep multiplying nothing. And then we wonder why we feel empty and alone and really not fulfilled, because these thoughts are nothing. They have no foundation. They're not true. And so you will not extend them by doing so, you see. So he's using the extension as the way the Holy Spirit then expresses or extends what's true into the world. So there's a miracle, the miracle is the extension of love. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so
I
let's
read
move
on.
on to number 3. Do you want to read number 3?
Yeah. Besides your recognizing that thoughts are never idle, salvation requires that you also recognize that every thought you have brings either peace or war, either love or fear. A neutral result is impossible because a neutral thought is impossible. There's such a temptation to dismiss fear thoughts as unimportant, trivial, and not worth bothering about that it is essential you recognize them as all as equally destructive but equally unreal. We will practice this idea in many forms before you really understand it. Yes,
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm really stubborn, Jesus. I'm really stubborn today.
No. I'm saying you won't understand this fully because we need to practice it to understand it. So you recognize fear thoughts as equally destructive but equally unreal. It seems to be a paradox. How can it be unreal if it's destructive? But then this is how he's working. So it's seemingly destructive to my peace of mind, any fear thought. But actually, I can reinterpret that and recognize that it's unreal, which means that I withdraw, I remove its power, destructive power. Because if it's unreal, how can it be destructive? It's not even there. See? So this is the Spirit's reinterpretation. But it starts with the recognition of what you're doing. So number 1 is acknowledgement. Yeah, it's an acknowledgement of the negative thoughts. You need to start there, and then from that apparent destruction, you move through a process to release it, to recognize that it's not real. He's talking there, and on two levels. Equally destructive, that's the level of form of illusion, seemingly destructive to your peace of mind. To other people, it can cause you to do destructive things, actions, but equally unreal. That's lifting it up into the level of truth, which is this level, timeline of consciousness. So we talked about this yesterday, lifting it up from the level of the timeline into the level of truth. So this timeline is destructive in nature, but if you forgive it, then you lift it to the level of divine awareness. There's no destruction there. So in one sentence, he's giving us that movement from the one domain of the ego to the domain of the spirit. Okay, any questions on this? Shall we do a little meditation for...
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My screen went black. I can't read anymore.
Okay, well that's all right, because I'm going to read to you. You're going to do a meditation now. So
Okay.
we've done the rest of this lesson is practice, so I'll just guide you through this. So is it okay if we do a 15-minute meditation? So you'll finish at 3:05. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart. Back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how stomach rises, chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle. Locking the energy in. Drawing the energy up the spine into the crown. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind. So noticing any thoughts and any emotions going on. And look for any thoughts, any little thoughts that may tend to elude the search. It may be quite difficult until you get used to it. You may find that it's hard for you not to make artificial distinctions. So every thought that occurs to you, regardless of the qualities that you assign to it, is suitable. So breathe in, create some space, some awareness around the thought. Observe the energy of the thought, the motion of it. And then repeat today's idea. I have no neutral thoughts. So just breathe in, surround the thought with some presence, some awareness.
Hey.
Say this thought
Sorry.
about whatever is not a neutral thought. That thought about whoever or whatever is not a neutral thought as you become aware of your thoughts. And that'll help you to think of them as clouds just drifting by. They have no real power. Realizing they have no real power is reminding yourself that everything is not a neutral thought. are no neutral thoughts. So you must choose. A negative thought only has power because you give it power, because you choose to entertain it. So these exercises are about helping you to become aware of how you do that, how the ego uses your mind, and starting to help you to see truly what is really hurting you, what is helping you. So breathe in again. Deep inhale, create some space with the breath, and just open empty space. Again, scan your mind. Look for any thoughts, any emotions, any sensations, particularly anything that feels disturbing. And don't let any so-called little thoughts escape you. Whatever the thought is, just observe it and apply today's idea. And if you see it as an ephemeral cloud pattern, simply not true or real, you exhale, and you let it go. Breathe it all away to the nothingness it really is. Blow it away with the breeze of your breath. And you find a sense of peace and calm and stillness at the bottom of the exhale. And so just for a couple of minutes, sink in. Inwards lies truth, outwards lies madness. So sink into your mind. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still. Observing the breath flowing into your nostrils and out of your nostrils. And surrendering into stillness. Any thoughts arise to seemingly preoccupy your mind, just remind yourself that this thought about whoever or whatever is not a neutral thought, and then exhale, blow it away with the breeze of your breath. And nothingness that it really is. The cloud just dissipates, has no substance, just drifting away, being undone. All that's remaining is the clear blue sky of your true awareness. So just sink into that awareness. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, and be still in the neutral space. in pure formless awareness, where there's only the thought of love as you are. Say to yourself, I am love, I am that presence, I am that I am. And with that invitation, just let go of all thought and enter into the stillness fully. The next 2 minutes of deep silence. And so just gently coming back from this deep state of connection, and you bring your attention back into the body, into the senses, into the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale, smile. Just scan your mind again, notice any thoughts, any emotions going on. Remind yourself of today's idea. I have no neutral thoughts. So whatever that thought is, name it, this thought about whatever or whoever is not a neutral thought. And then you exhale and have a sense of just releasing any mental and emotional attachment to or investment in this thought. Just blow it all away with the breeze of your breath into the nothingness that it really is. Follow the stomach into the spine. Smell the last remaining air out. Notice weight of your body on the count of 2, pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Just notice what you're feeling with your hands touching. As you breathe in, maybe there's a subtle smell in your nose, a taste in your mouth. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, surrendered state. Without judgment, without interpretation, and it's nothing that can really disturb you. So notice how peaceful you feel. When you're in this peaceful perception of the world, then thoughts are only positive, coming from pure formless awareness, just observing. That is thought, that's awareness, but it's not subject-object dualistic thought in the sense of the ego. It's not negative thought in any way. So you open your eyes on the count of 3, just look around, take a minute just to bring yourself back. As usual, scan the room, just noticing the various objects in the room around you. Very casually, no attempt to name them or label them or judge them, just observe. Casual, detached way. If any thoughts arise as you're looking around you, say this thought about whatever it is you're seeing or related to this is not a neutral thought. And then you move on. Say the same thing for the next thing that you see and a thought is triggered. Notice as you say this, you feel quite neutral, quite calm, peaceful, unshakable. And so just anchor the state in, feel the peace in your mind. Carry that peace with you into the rest of your day, into your interview, Kati. Because that is peace that passes all understanding, that will flawlessly direct you, guide you to say and do the right thing. I'm going to leave you with this final little prayer from A Course in Miracles. This is lesson 361 to 365. So this holy instant would I give to you. Be you in charge. For I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. And if I need a word to help me, you will give it to me. Spirit of love will give it to me. If I need a thought, that will love also give. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of love. Love is in charge by my request, and it will hear and answer me because it speaks for love itself, my source, and its holy extension, which is me. So carry this love with you into your interview and just let it guide you, what you say and what you do, and all will be well. And that brings us to the end of the meditation session. So, thank you, Katie, and may love be with you in your interview.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll see you tonight. You're going to join later or not?
I think I can join later.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So see you at 7:30 your time, and I look forward to hearing the miracle story.
Oh, hearing a miracle story, yeah. Let me see. Can I join today? Tuesday? Yes,